Good, happy Tuesday morning, September 10, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this morning, so let's begin. First up, man fatally shoots himself in police station parking lot after chase, police say. Man pronounced dead at hospital. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Tim Callery.
At Beltates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
5 Sunday evening, Guilford police responding to a report of shots fired during a domestic dispute. The incident involving people in 2 separate vehicles on Vincent Drive.
I'm not sure the exact location of where that round went, but it potentially struck the other vehicle involved.
With a description of the suspect's vehicle, police went on the search, eventually locating him.
I activated the lights and a brief pursuit ensued, which then traveled into the city of Laconia.
They pursued the vehicle down Morrow Street onto Guilford Avenue.
The chase continuing through the busy corner area of Laconia, the suspect's vehicle stopping in the parking lot of the police department, where officials say he stepped out of his car with a gun in hand and shot himself. He was transported to Lakes Region General Hospital in Laconia, where he was treated briefly before being pronounced dead.
Any time that someone loses their life or takes their life, it's a tragic situation.
No officers were physically hurt, but Chief Matt Canfield says it was a traumatic event for everyone involved.
The mental wellness of our officers is our first and foremost priority. Certainly this has a very traumatic effect on those that were very involved with it.
Both Laconia and Guilford police are providing resources to support their officers. And police also adding that a situation like this has rippling effects, sending their sympathies to the suspect's family. Now, both officials in Laconia and Guilford say he did not have criminal records with their departments. Live in Laconia, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Nashua man takes boat from Florida to rescue sister after Hurricane Dorian. Man's sister had been living on island off Great Abaco. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Charisse LeClaire.
At Beltates, customers will find everything they need for a building project. The brand names you trust to perform. And with a fleet of over 50 delivery vehicles, we deliver when and where our customers need them. Beltates Building Products. 9 locations throughout New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
Tom, it's quite a story. Jim Clough's sister and her family moved to Green Turtle Key 2 years ago after losing their previous home in Florida to a fire. Now they're picking up the pieces once again. Jim says the focus now needs to be on the people who are banding together in the wake of such a disaster.
Our mission was to bring them back.
A daring mission by a big brother, determined to be there for his younger sister and her family. He hadn't heard from them after Dorian hit.
I just kept going back and looking at my phone, watching that storm, just sitting over them, thinking what's going on.
Hundreds of miles away on Green Turtle Key, a barrier island off of Great Abaco, this was what his family was dealing with. Video from inside their shelter showing the whipping wind and driving rain. His sister Beverly, her son, husband, and pets huddled inside their friend's home. Jim got the last ticket on a flight headed to Florida Thursday night. By early Friday morning, he and his sister's father-in-law were on a boat making the 8-hour trek to the island, supplies in tow. A journey they had been warned could cross their paths with debris from the storm and even pirates. But Friday afternoon, when Jim finally saw his sister...
Oh, so much relief, just to see them and their family. We all cried.
Jim's photos also showing just how devastated the island is. Boats tossed onto land, entire homes flattened. But he says the most amazing part was how people were treating one another.
It's just amazing to see a community like that pull together and take care of one another. It's something you don't see until something like that happens.
Now, they were able to safely bring Jim's sister and her family back to Florida, where they had to be treated for some injuries sustained during the storm. He says they will now return to Green Turtle Key to help friends recover. If you would like to help, they have several fundraisers set up for loved ones. You can find that information on our website and mobile app. Monica?
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Nashua police captain dies while visiting West Coast. Captain Joe Lee Holt's death was untimely, police say. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Nashville police are mourning the passing of a longtime member of its department. Captain John Leto was a 20-year veteran. The city's police chief announced his untimely death on Twitter tonight. Leto passed away today while visiting the West Coast. No other details were released. The chief asks people for their prayers for Leto's family and the community that he served.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And our thoughts and prayers go to his family and his colleagues at the Nashua Police Department. Newington Fire Chief 35 dies after cancer battle. Dran Shabin worked way up at fire department. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Gene Mackin.
And this is truly where Chief Sabin's story began. He lived just down the street and as a boy would ride his bike right here, just hoping to get in the firehouse. The Newington Fire Station is draped in black bunting. Black ribbons cover the seal on the fire trucks, and Chief Darren Sabin's gear sits out front of the firehouse that was, in so many ways, his home. Fellow firefighters, too emotional to talk on camera about their loss, choose to let these images share their grief and their respect for Chief Sabin. They stood by his side, and he stood by theirs during his 2-year battle with cancer. He leaves behind his wife of 7 years, Jennifer, and 2 daughters, 5 and 3 years old, and one big firefighting family. He wanted to be a firefighter all his life, and right here made his dream come true as a junior firefighter, working his way up through the ranks to chief at his neighborhood station, even working through cancer treatments, dedicated to a boyhood dream and the community where his family would plant their roots and grow their love. A viewing will be held on Thursday for family, friends, and firefighters, and then on Friday, the public is invited to funeral services in Portsmouth. Live at the Newington Fire Department tonight, Gene Mackin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And our thoughts and prayers go to Chief Darren Sabin and his colleagues and his family. New Hampshire Secretary of State's report reference names of 213 voters to AG's office. Secretary of State reports voter affidavit statistics. The names of more than 200 voters have been referred to the New Hampshire Attorney General's office for investigation after they either cast ballots or registered without providing photo identification in 2018, according to the latest report to the legislature. One person killed in crash on Route 116 in Bethlehem. Road opened after 3 hours. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9.
State police say an inattentive driver likely led to a deadly crash on Route 116 in Bethlehem today. Investigators say around 2 this afternoon, a truck carrying logs crashed into the back of a Honda Civic that had stopped to turn left into a driveway. That pushed the Honda across the road, where it was hit by a minivan coming in the other direction. 77-year-old Ellen Morrow of Bethlehem was the passenger in the Honda. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The drivers of the Honda and minivan were both taken to the hospitals and are expected to recover. Any charges won't be announced until the investigation is finished. Route 116 was closed for nearly 3 hours.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Pamela Smart's mother asks judge to reconsider commission request. Linda Roy says documents and surely referred to pardon. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Jennifer Crompton.
Linda Wojcik remains a mother on a mission, fighting for her daughter, Pamela Smart, convicted as an accomplice to the murder of her husband, Greg Smart, in Derry in 1990, sentenced to life in prison without parole.
I'm 77. I hope I live long enough to see her come home.
She refers to years of digging up what she calls facts and injustices in the case. The 4 teens involved struck plea deals, including Billy Flynn, who admitted pulling the trigger. They are now out of prison. Linda visits Pam, now 52, at prison in New York State and says Pam is strong, has 2 master's degrees and almost a doctorate in divinity, helps other inmates, and has a long list of accomplishments. Wojcik quotes our state constitution for why she deserves the chance for parole.
The true design of all punishment is to rehabilitate, not exterminate mankind, unquote.
Smart recently requested her sentence be commuted so she'd have that chance. But Wojcik says it was referred to in documents as a pardon, something entirely different, including in the denial letter Smart received in May.
It says, "Dear Ms. Smart, I'm writing regarding your petition to Governor Hassan and the Executive Council for a pardon."
She's appealing to Governor Sununu.
I'm asking him to resubmit it as it was originally appeared on the list on an upcoming agenda properly as a commutation and not erroneously as a pardon.
We asked the governor's office for a response, and according to a statement, the Executive Council did carefully vet Pam Smart's request to hold a hearing on a commutation of her sentence. Live in the newsroom, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Concord police investigating armed robbery at Burger King. A female suspect, a passenger in a red SUV, is accused of pointing a gun at a drive-through cashier and getting away with cash on Hall Street. Concord police are investigating a report of a robbery at the Burger King on Hall Street. According to Scanner's chatter, a red SUV pulled up to the drive-thru at just before 9 p.m. Monday, and the passenger of the vehicle, a woman, pulled a gun on the cashier after putting in an order for food and demanding money. The driver was a black male and the passenger was a white female, according to the report. Both appeared to be in their mid-20s, according to witnesses. The woman was wearing a yellow and pink hoodie with a hood covering her face, and the man was wearing a black hoodie. The pair got away with an undetermined amount of cash, 3 sandwiches, and 2 Coca-Cola products. After the robbery, the red vehicle, an older model with a loud exhaustion, fled the scene, but witnesses did not know which direction. A number of officers reported to the scene and closed off the area. Officers interviewed the 911 caller as well as other employees and witnesses, and no injuries were reported. Dispatch issued a be on the lookout call with a limited information they had about the robbery to other law enforcement agencies. Officers also searched the area of the city, including Storrow Street, local hotels, and other areas, but were unable to find the red SUV. U.S. futures point to a slightly lower open. U.S. stocks set to open slightly lower Tuesday morning. We have to be very careful, Trump warns of gains entering U.S. from Bahamas. The acting commissioner of the U.S. Customs, Border and Protection denied on Monday that people fleeing the devastation in Bahamas in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian have been turned away from the United States by his agency because they did not have proper documentation. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.